How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about BBIG, which was down just over 1% on Friday. So a slight pullback. So many are asking, with the record date coming up this week on the 18th for those Cryptide shares, what do you see the stock doing? So we'll talk about it for this video. I won't be wasting any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support, we want to know resistance, we want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for BBIG. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $2.60, being down 1.14%. On the low, it tested $2.51, and then on the high, testing $2.79. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 29.864 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 34.586 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we've seen a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 48.93. And then when we take a look at the moving averages here on their chart, we are below the 200-day, we're also below the 100-day, and it does look like we are below the 21-day EMA and as well as the 50-day. So taking into consideration the price action, it was good that we were able to actually fill in the gap. I think that's where we actually left off in the previous BBIG video. So knowing that that gap has been filled, we have been seeing some spikes going on as of late. It making those moves to $3 and then selling off and so forth. And we also ended up seeing some highs of it testing in the threes, but we know when it's in the threes, we want to look forward to seeing that move going to 4, or at least a 200-day moving average, which we stated was around 392, and right now it's at 391. So for this week, what I want to see, we do have the record date for those Tide shares coming up on the 18th. Is it going to be buy the rumor or sell the news? So as far as for this price action, I want to see if we can end up having another spike prior to that date. And where that spike you'd want to see, I want to see a move above $3. Like I said, we closed at $2.60. We should be able to have another momentum run to $3. If we don't get that, then we might just continue to consolidate. And if we continue to consolidate and then we get to the date of the 18th, then there's a good chance we could have a very strong sell-off. But of course, if you are trading this play, you're going to use risk management. You're going to have your stop loss and so forth. When I was talking about BBIG, I was saying it's not bad taking an entry when it's in the low twos and having your stop loss around $2. And of course, you would be naturally moving up your stop loss as the price has moved up all the way into the mid threes. So if you are still inside of this play and you have not taken any profits and taking a look at the technicals, you are taking on a lot more risk. I want to make sure I'm being clear on that. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for BBIG. Scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for the 13th, we have Peak 6 Investment LLC that purchased 38,223 shares, and we have Money Concepts Capital Corp that purchased 1,500 shares. We also have Ergatelis LLC that purchased 68,769 shares as well, with the rest of the red being closed positions. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 63.81%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 10.32 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 40,000, updated 3 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 39.70%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 12th, it was at 40.70, and then for the close of the 13th, strength being at 63.81. So what does this show us? BBIG does have short squeeze potential, especially since the short interest percentage of the float is at 15.25%. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for BBIG. So we see on the inflow, it is at 14.55 million, and then on the outflow is at 14.75 million. Taking a look at the breakdown, we did have an overall outflow day, but it was still fairly close. And then taking a look at the large, it was 0.32 million. On the medium, it was 9.93 million. And then on the small, it was at 4.30 million. And then taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 1.96 million. Then on the medium, it was 8.88 million. And then on the small, it was 3.91 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see from May to 13th, so the Friday that just passed, we had that outflow of negative 1.64 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, you can see that we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 15.88%. No surprises there. We know that BBIG is a volatile stock, and we have that record date that's coming up on the 18th for those cryptide shares. So just knowing this, I'm going to let you guys know what my thoughts are in the final thoughts. So let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for BBIG, when it comes to the price action, the key level you want to see it get to is to the 100-day moving average, which is right around $2.83. If we could break above this level or even have support above this level, then I want to see us making that move to $3. And at $3, you guys know the next level that we want to see is the 200-day moving average at $3.91. And that's where if we break out above that level, BBIG will be going into the 4s and possibly going into the 5s. Am I saying that this is going to be happening? No, I'm just telling you what the charts are showing me if it decides to be bullish. Now, if it decides to consolidate, you want to see strength. You want to see it staying above at least around 245 or even 250. Breaking through these levels is definitely not a great sign, but it is a possibility. And when I was telling you guys about BBIG, let's be clear here. It was trading nearly $2. I think it was around $2.15 or $2.20. It's seen strong pops going to $3, even into the mid 3s. Many of you have said, Dre, I've already taken some profit. And you know what? I still have some shares riding out there. Again, that is perfectly fine, but just make sure you understand the risk. This is a speculative play. I'm going to repeat that again. This is a speculative play. So if you are going to be in it, you want to make sure any money that you have inside of it, you are not afraid to lose it. Anything could happen. Many people are saying, well, you know what? This stock is going to run up. It is going to short squeeze. It does have short squeeze potential, but considering we had low volume on the Friday, that is not helpful whatsoever. So that's why for Monday and as well as for Tuesday, these will be some crucial days. You want to see above average volume. You want to see buying pressure, because if we get that, that's where we can get to those levels that I mentioned earlier, getting back into the 3s and potentially making that move going to 4. But if the demand is not there, I guarantee there's going to be a lot of traders that are going to get out of this play, and you already know what could happen to the stock. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see that institutions were loading up on shares. Plus, on top of that, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. But like I said, we need to have buying volume coming into the play. Let's see how many people are interested in getting their hands on those cryptide shares. Just remember, as you receive those shares of cryptide, you are not losing any of your BBIG shares whatsoever. Many people wanted to get some clarification on that, so I hope that you understand that. There's been a lot of miscommunication out there on social media, so I wanted to make sure I ironed that out. But for the most part, just taking a look at this chart, we did form a higher low on the Friday. So let's see if we can have a continuation of this pattern and make a move to the upside. That'll be the ideal scenario here. But don't forget, if you are going to be inside of this play, do your homework. Do your research. Very important. Know your entry, know your exit, and just make sure you have a strategy. Risk management. I'm going to preach it in all of my videos till it's ingrained in your mind before you push the buy button. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into Monday. We'll talk soon.